Hello, Tax Lien investors. We are live on Facebook. This is Joanne Musa, the Tax Lien Lady, and this is Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live, where you get to ask me your questions and I get to answer them for you live here on Facebook. I'm actually doing this through something called StreamYard, where I can see your comments on Facebook and answer them for you live. And this is also live streaming onto our private Facebook group, our Investing for Success group, which it's a private group, but anybody can join us. You just have to answer some questions. We just want to make sure that you're interested in tax lien investing and that you're not going to use the group to solicit business. Okay, it's really just for connecting with other tax lien investors and gaining information about tax lien investing. I also have some units on there that you could actually learn a little bit about tax lien investing there. And we do the Facebook Lives. We do the Facebook Lives on my business page, but it streams over to the Investing for Success group as well. And I actually messaged some of our new members to the group to learn what was their number one question about tax lien investing. So I do have a couple of those questions that I'm going to answer today on this live. And also some announcements for you. If you're not on my list, you wouldn't have gotten my newsletter that let you know what's happening this week and this month at taxlienlady.com. And we just had a wonderful conference. Our second annual Tax Lien Investing Conference was May 5th. It was last Thursday. And we had some great speakers. And one of those speakers was Mika Coleman. And we're going to have her do a webinar tomorrow night. She's going to be my guest speaker for our wealth building webinar for May. Now, wealth building webinars are free to come to live, but if you want the recordings, it's $49 a month to get all the recordings of all the wealth building webinars that we do. Now, sometimes I do a training, sometimes I have a guest speaker. So tomorrow night, we're going to have Mika come back. Everybody was really interested in what she had to say because she talked about tax deeds. She's a tax deed investing expert and overages. She's also an expert in getting overages, not just getting the overages, but getting finder's fees for overages. So for you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what an overage is, when you go to a tax deed sale, sometimes there's a lot of money paid for these tax deed properties. Like for instance, let's say the back taxes are $10,000, but the property is worth $100,000, okay? And somebody pays maybe $50,000 to get the property. Well, there's a $40,000 overage from the taxes that were due that the owner can get, but owners a lot of times don't know that, right? So it goes unclaimed, and if it goes unclaimed too long, they'll lose it. It cheats to the state. Okay, so what Mika does is she finds people that are owed all that money and gets a percentage of that money for getting it for them because she knows how to get it. And there's a way to do this properly. If you don't do it properly, you might not make any money at it. So it's really important to do it properly. She's going to be talking about that tomorrow night at our next wealth building webinar. Now, Nicole is with me today. Nicole is one of my awesome assistants. Thank you, Nicole, for being here. And Nicole has put links in the comments for you for the Investing for Success group to go ahead and sign up for that group if you're not already a member. It is free, but you do have to answer the questions, especially you have to agree to our terms to be included, which basically says that you're not going to solicit business in the group, that yes, you're there because you're interested. And that's another question. We ask you if you're interested in tax liens, because if you're not, you really don't belong in the group. tax liens or deeds. I forget the exact questions that we ask you, but the important one is that you have to agree to the terms before we let you in. And so make sure you do that. Now she's also put a link for you to register free for our live webinar tomorrow night. And again, it's free to come to the live call. If you want the replay, you have to become a member of Wealth Building Webinars, and we'll announce that, how to do that tomorrow night on the call. Okay, so we also have another webinar for you the week, it's the Thursday next week, not this week, but next week. We have an investing, not an investing for success, it's a tax sale success webinar. It really on how I'm able to, and my clients are able to get really good returns on their tax liens. So we'll be going over that next Thursday night, and that is a free webinar. Okay. So when you come on, just, say hello, let me know where you're from, and give me your questions. I did have a couple of questions that people that are in the Investing for Success group asked that I want to answer in this Facebook Live. And somebody had asked, they said that their number one question about investing in tax liens is where to get the capital. So I am going to tell you about 2 ways to get more money to invest. But first, I want to tell you, this is investing, okay? It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. So you do need money to invest. So where can you get that money to invest if you don't have a lot of money to invest, all right? Well, there's 2 ways that I want to tell you about. And one is I recently became licensed to sell insurance. And you might say, well, what does an insurance policy have to do with getting money to invest? Everything, because the reason why I got my license to be an insurance agent is because there's a particular type of insurance policy called an infinite banking insurance policy that I wanted to get. As a matter of fact, the first life insurance program that I wrote was for me, so that I could sell myself one of these policies, all right? So an infinite banking policy is a policy, it's a whole life policy. And another reason why I wanted one of these policies is because, hey, I'm in my 60s, I'm 63 years old. In a couple of years, I'm going to be 65. And I have a term life insurance policy, but when I'm 65, that policy is going to cost me way too much money. It's going to be over $700 a month. And that's just for term insurance. It doesn't give me a cash value or anything. So I don't want that policy anymore, because right now it's costing me less than $100 a month, okay? So, so right away, I want to get a whole life insurance policy to replace my term insurance policy. I'm going to be paying a lot more into it, but most of what I pay into it is going to go to my cash value of the policy, and I'll be able to take that money out and use it for things like investing in tax liens, or paying off my debt faster, or paying my expenses, whatever I want to use it for. And here's how it works. When you make your money, you're going to use that money. You're either going to put it in a savings account, you're either going to buy goods with it, pay your mortgage with it, your food bill and other expenses, buy stuff with it, or you're going to invest it. Okay, now when you put it in a savings account, you're not making much money. You're not going to make enough to keep up with inflation. So you actually lose when you put it in a savings account. When you buy stuff with it, that money's gone and you don't have use of it again. When you invest it, you lose control of the money. All right. And depending on what you invested in, it might not keep up with inflation either. But by putting it into an infinite banking policy, you put some of it is going to pay for the policy, like some of it is going to pay for your insurance, but most of the money that you put in there is going to go into your cash value, which is going to earn interest and dividends. And you can borrow that money out. It's your money. It's like your own bank that's earning interest and dividends. But you can borrow that money and take it out and use it to invest. All right, so that's one way to get money to invest. Money that you're already making now and already spending. You could also take it out to spend on your expenses or whatever. Now I'm simplifying this a little bit. There's a little bit more to it than this, but this is a simplified version, okay? Now, technically, you're supposed to pay that money back, all right? But you can pay it back and pay yourself interest back, but you don't have to. If you never pay the money back, it comes out of your death benefit when you die, all right? So if you have like $100,000 death benefit or a $200,000 death benefit, and you borrow maybe $25,000 or $50,000 out of the policy and you never pay it back, well, that comes out of your death benefit when you die. And so at that point, who cares? Unless you have a few people that you want to leave it to, all right? But your expenses will be paid when you die, because it's hopefully by the time you die, it's not going to take up all your death benefit to pay them. But that is how the infinite banking policy works. Now, the other way to get money to invest is to do a different kind of investment that costs less money than tax lien investing or tax deed investing. And that would be overages, getting finder's fees for overages. You could get started in that with a lot less money than you can with tax liens or tax deeds, and make money that you could use to invest in tax liens. And that is what Mika Coleman is going to talk to us about tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And Nicole has already put in the comments the link to sign up for that webinar. Okay, she's also put in the link for the other registration link, the Zoom link that she put in there is for our webinar next week, next Thursday night, our tax sale success webinar. So she's got those two links in there for you. Now, that was one way to, that was the second way to get money to invest. So I gave you two ways to get money to invest in tax liens. And that was one of the questions I got was, where do I get the capital to invest? For those of you that don't have enough capital to invest or, are starting out with nothing. Okay. The other question that I got was, when do we need to have an LLC? When we're investing in tax liens, when do we need to have an LLC? And here's the thing, you really don't need to have an LLC to invest in tax liens. I've invested in tax liens in my own name, my husband's name, in an LLC, in a limited partnership, and in a trust. You could do it in any of those entities, but you don't need an LLC to invest. And in some cases, you're better off not having one, because some states are going to make you jump through hoops if you're investing in an entity instead of your own name. That being said, if you are buying property, if you are investing in redeemable deeds or deeds, you might want to have an LLC. If you're investing in liens, the time to get an LLC is when you actually foreclose on the property and get the property. You want to put the property in an LLC. But for liens, you don't need to have an LLC. So don't let that stop you from investing. All right. So those are two questions that I got ahead of time that I wanted to answer in this live. And for those of you that just came on, this is Ask the Tax Lien Lady live, where I get to answer your questions live on Facebook. And if you have questions about what we've already covered, this recording will be on our Facebook business page. It will be in the Investing for Success group, Facebook group, and it will also be on YouTube. It will be posted on our YouTube channel as well. So you can always watch the replay if you missed what we already talked about. But what I want you to do is when you come on, say hello, tell me where you're coming in from, because when I answer your question, it's different in every state. Tax lien investing and tax deed investing is so different in every state that I really have to know what state you're investing in order to answer your question. So that being said, I'm here to answer your questions. So let me know what your questions are. And if I don't get any questions, I'm not going to stay here very long. All right. So go ahead and ask me your questions. All right. And I know we've had people pop in and pop out. So let me know what your questions are, and I'll stay here and answer them. And if we don't have any more questions, I've already answered a couple of questions. The questions that I answered in today's live were about where to get money to invest and when do you need an LLC to invest. Those were the questions that we answered today. And we also had some announcements of things that are coming up. We've got a webinar tomorrow night with Mika Coleman, and we've got a webinar next week, a tax sale success webinar next week. So the links to join, to register for both of those webinars are in the comments. And there's also a link for you guys that are not in our Investing for Success Facebook group. There's also a link to that. Nicole, do we have any questions inside the Investing for Success Facebook group? And is there anybody inside the group that's on and this is being live streamed to the group, right? Okay, and we do not have anybody that's in the group with questions, but is this being live streamed into the group, or do we put it in later? Yes, it is also being streamed to the group. Awesome. So the people in the group that asked me those questions will be able to get those answers. All right, that's awesome. And so if we don't have any questions, I'm just gonna, I know we kind of didn't have our usual barrage in social media letting people know that this Facebook was today, but it is the second and third Tuesday of every month. It was a little bit different the last 2 months because we had stuff going on where we could not do it at the normal times. I think we couldn't do it on the second week, so we did it the third and fourth instead of the second and third. But normally it's the second and third Tuesday every month. So we will be back next week. You guys that missed it because you didn't hear about it in time, we'll be back again doing this next week. And if you can't be here live, you can always give us your questions ahead of time in the Facebook group, in the Investing for Success group, or right here on my business page. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I'm just going to give it one more minute to see if we get anybody that hops on and asks a question. And while I wait just a few seconds for that, I'm going to take a sip of my energy tea. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to Mika's webinar tomorrow night to her presentation on overages, because here's the thing about investing in overages, or it's not even investing in overages. What you're doing is you're getting overages for people. You're finding people that are owed these overages. And in return for getting it for them, you're getting a percent of what they're owed. Now, sometimes somebody could be owed quite a lot of money. It could be a six-figure payday. So if you get like 20% of that, that could be a really good payday for you. But what that does is it's a way for you to get money to invest, and it's an easy way to start out. So I'm really excited about that tomorrow night. And again, Nicole has already put the link in there to join us. And I know we had somebody just jump on. So if you have a question, ask me now, because we haven't had any live questions yet. I did answer a couple of questions that I got ahead of time today, but we didn't get any live questions yet. So if there are no live questions, I'm going to end this Facebook Live. But if you just jumped on and you have a question, let us know. Say hello, let us know where you're from, and give us your question, and I'll be happy to answer it for you. That's what I'm here for. Okay. But if we don't get any questions, I'm not going to hang around. I was out and about today, and I haven't eaten lunch yet. So I'm going to do that as soon as we're done here. And if you want to know what the questions were that I answered, just the replay is going to be on here as soon as we're done, and you can listen to it or watch it, as the case may be. Okay. All right, everybody. Nicole, thank you so much for your help, and we'll be back again next week for Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live. Bye.